Vox banned in game number 1. Is that likely to be the case here in game number 2? In game number 3, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, what I am worried about for Ace Gaming here is that last game, they played their best composition in 2.10 by far. This is the composition that they're trying to win the championship with, having Vox on the carry, letting him hyper carry in the late game with a lot of protection, a lot of support from both the jungler and the captain hero. So now that they lost with it, what else are they going to show up with?
While I completely agree that it is a great composition on 2.10, I think it is far from being Ace Gaming's best composition. Their best composition is still going to be that Kestrel, Samuel, Lyra. But Tribe know that and will never allow that composition to go over. But we do have our first change of the series with the Churnwalker now going to Ace.
I don't think Tribe would care about the Samuel Lyra with Kestrel just because it doesn't work that well in 2.10. Ace Gaming hasn't pulled it off.
Tell TSM that.
Yeah, I mean, they're not using semifinals, quarterfinals, now in the finals, but still though, Ace Game or Tribe, once again, they get the Adagio, and DNZO going to feel comfortable with that unless they flex it into the captain role.
And this time, picking that Adagio first changes the dynamic here. Last time they picked it because they knew the lane opponent, but you're absolutely right. This can be flexed. This could be a captain Adagio. We've seen that earlier in the tournament.
Yeah, I doubt it because Captain Adagio is just so weak. He's strong early, but just falls off completely in the late game. It's too easy to block his Verse of Judgment ultimate. I think Arden will probably pick up here or Grace, because you want a comp that can dive against a Churnwalker. You can't let a Churnwalker initiate you. You have to initiate the Churnwalker and win the fight from a damage standpoint.
The other thing that I wouldn't be surprised if it got picked up is the Black Feather, so that they can have that flexibility if they want to put the Adagio in the captain role, and Black Feather itself would be a flexible pick. So now Tribe have so many different options that they can switch their comp into as they see Ace round out theirs.
Yeah, and especially because Churnwalker's already selected for Ace, that means that they can almost guarantee their pick of the litter when it comes to the captains for their final selection. So it's a very smart draft in terms of the flexibility for Tribe. However, Ace can, there's really only two different options that can come out for Tribe's composition. It's either going to be the Crystal Blackfeather or it's going to be the Captain Adagio. So you can really just kind of prepare for what you expect to be coming out.
I said earlier, Ace Gaming lost with one of their best compositions with the Vox, Lorelei, and the Grace. The other thing that they can go back to is the Sky Weapon Power, the CP Kestrel that Tassa dominated with. I was just about to bring it up, but they do pick it up right away.
Yeah, the heat-seeking one-shot, one-kills coming out from Tassa.
Yeah, I mean, they have options. They can do a CP Sky jungle and then a Weapon Kestrel, or do Weapon Sky and CP Kestrel. They both work pretty well, but I think for a dive comp, or maybe anti-dive comp against a Blackfeather and Adagio that wants to dive on top of the Kestrel or Sky, they probably opt with the Weapon Kestrel and a CP Sky here and just kite and use a Churnwalker to keep Tribe at bay.
All right, we'll see if they're going to be
in the works, because Tribe are not going to know where these picks are going.
Well, game number 3 is underway. Tribe are 2-0 up right now. One more game will put them to match points.
Creation is kind of a Kestrel god, though, so we always have to be aware of that. Kestrel might be in a weaker position than she was previously, but he is kind of a Kestrel god. Now, like I said, the original composition they used to run was with a Samuel, but they're going for a heavy invade here.
Yep, Ace is looking for this front camp. They're going to secure it. Maybe they just walk into the jungle.
Max Green's in a lot of trouble. DNZO as well. They're both going extremely low. Creation wants first blood, and he finds it. Ace get one on the board. T-Tigers just is going to have to farm up as most of his jungle as possible. In fact, Creation might just snipe him away here as well. Hook goes a little bit wide, but Creation round the corner isn't going to matter because Tassa is going to secure the kill. Ace 2-0 in 1 minute.
Every time Ace have this range composition, they march their way over to the middle of the map and they contest that front treant away from their opponents. Tried to contest this knowing full well what was going on here, but their early game is just nowhere near the same of Ace, and now Ace have a 2-kill lead. They have 600 gold already for themselves in the lead. Creation may have to be a little bit careful. He's moved into the lane with only just the hill.
What a way to start the game, though. You come out of a 2-game loss in a series, and you fight that early game like there's no difference at all. Very interesting to see Tassa taking away the Sky, not only from DNZO, but aiding that range composition. Very, very strong. Max Green, DNZO, and Tigers, they're playing super defensive now.
Yeah, they have to because of the fact that Ace have such a lead over them. when you take this Churnwalker away from Max Green, it means that he does not have as much playmaking ability in the early game.
Yeah.
Something Tribe rely on very heavily to get their dominance.
Ooh,
He's playing Tribes at their own game at the moment, pushing into the jungle. They will get punished for it, though, as T-Tigers did land a fearsome on point. They're going to contest this Elder Treant, though.
A lot of shared experience for Ace means that T-Tigers had a slight level advantage just going into a mini brawl there, which was able to force back Tassa early on. T-Tigers, he's ready to fight back.
He wants blood. Tassa's going to come in as well. Elder Treant gets taken, but it's actually going to land on T-Tigers. The healing comes through. Tassa's extremely weak. Dienzio getting chunked up by the chains as well. Youngju comes forward. He might just burn them out right here, right now. Creation with the snipe over the wall. Finds his next kill. A Torment back in. Finds him a double. What a way to start game number 3 with Creation with 3 kills. Dienzio just trying his best to limp away as Creation finds him. Hook, land, snipe over the wall and make that a triple kill for Creation.
Ace just know exactly what they're doing with this composition. They're not done yet here, Jaws. Looking to steal away everything from T-Tigers, and they've changed their game plan completely. Instead of playing around the lane, they are shutting down T-Tigers and making Tribe's win condition of early game non-existent.
No one has yet managed to do that this entire tournament. No one has taken T-Tigers on in the jungle properly. This is the first time we've seen a team do it, and it has given such early game success. What a way. And also, just Creation. He is a Kestrel god. He is just a Kestrel god.
And that's what I want to touch on, is that in that moment, Creation backported. All right, we're at 340. He's just finished his Sorrow Blade. That is unbelievable. That is the highest gold item that you can purchase at this stage of the game. And he's done it before 4 minutes. Incredible. But Creation was able to backport before that fight broke out, and Ace knew that he was coming with a Heavy Steel and a 6 Sins. That is ridiculous damage for Kestrel paired with a Churnwalker.
Youngju's Churnwalker right now is just looking absolute fire. I mean, Max Green, this rookie that's risen up throughout challenges in the Vainglory 8, proving him to be a world-class captain. And Youngju just takes the reins, takes the chains, and says, this is how you play Churnwalker in the early game.
Churnwalker is probably most teams' contested captain across this entire tournament. Most teams came in and said he was the strongest captain you could pick in a competitive format. I think that has thoroughly been shown across these next games. I think maybe Churnwalker bans is going to start coming through.
If you look at the items right now, we have a Sorrow Blade, we have almost the components for whatever item that Tassa wants to build on this guy, whether it be Frostburn or Dragon's Eye. And Dienzio is sitting on the gold needed to buy a Poison Shift twice over, but he can't backport. And Ace will just take a turret through this immense pressure they're outputting.
A 5-minute turret, and they don't think they're done just yet either. They're going to move towards the item shop, and this could be the complete reverse when you think about it in game number 2. Tribe maybe looking for a small invade. We've got Tassa now with a Frostburn as well. They're a whole item each ahead of Tribe at this current moment.
Yeah, massive, massive item investment, and I'm sure Dalcy can talk to me about this as well, but the Frostburn build on Sky, it's something that's not commonly done because of the lack of CP, but what it is going to allow is it's going to facilitate creation. You're going to slow down targets with forward barrage, making it easier to land those all-important glimmer shots. This is the creation game right now, and it's Ace playing around it.
One shot, one kill is going to strike Max Green. T-Tigers takes a large chunk out of Tassa, though. Can still duel quite heavily as he picked up the Aftershock a couple of minutes ago.
What do you think about the Aftershock? I don't know if I was in this situation, I'd be playing around potentially a Shatterglass because you've got a double squishy.
I think you can go Aftershock, Shatterglass,
yeah,
and you're going to have so much burst potential, but you're right. The thing we have to remember is that T-Tigers has been shut down in the jungle.
Yeah.
His gold income isn't quite as heavy. Aftershock, much cheaper investment, gives you a much earlier power spike than a Shatterglass would be able to because you're getting it quicker.
It's a really interesting discussion to have because is he actually going to use this early after power spike? I don't know if they're in a position where they can even fight right now. You know, if I was T-Tigers, maybe I would have gone forwards and waited a little bit, picked up the Shatterglass, and post level 8 used that range advantage to poke down this double squishy.
Death from above onto the gold mine. It is fairly low right now. Tassa and Creation both have infusions, so damage is up to this current moment in time. Dienzio comes in for the steal.
Oh,
T-Tiger steals it. That's an instant steal. Max Green lays down the corner. Also, it might just pay for it with his life. Glimmer shot doesn't quite land. One shot, one kill. It's going to get body blocked by Dienzio.
Good body block. No fountain used either. That is the power of a CP Blackfeather. You do a ridiculous amount of damage with on point when you build CP. You have to respect the steal potential. If I was going to name a hero that has stolen the most camps and most monsters in any of the Vainglory World series so far, I would have to say Blackfeather. He can do it from range, he can do it very safely, and he can do it with a very high amount of burst damage.
T-Tigers has to be up there as well with camp stolen his way. Potentially, the only jungler that can contest that is Von C. But unfortunately for Team Solar Mid, they exited the tournament very early, so I'm sure those stats heavily weigh towards T-Tigers. Ace not going to allow this to deter them. They have such a huge lead at the moment, and their siege potential is so strong. Unless T-Tigers can flank, then it seems like Ace just will take turret after turret.
Yeah, where's the wave clear from Tribe? How do you stop this without engaging? That's the thing. Tribe have to make a move to stop these turrets going down for free. You don't like have a Celeste to clear the waves. It's so important.
Well, 30 seconds on Max Green's ultimate. Maybe that's their go button, but Ace is just pummeling them underneath his turret. One shot, one kill. Doesn't quite do any damage as the shield did come back on the turret itself. And Max Green going fairly low. Does jump in with the blood for blood. T-Tigers is there also. Youngju is going to be able to kite back with those chains. A Rosa offensive to try and get on top of Tassa and Creation, but they just cannot touch them right now without getting heavily polished by that Frostburn.
And to touch on this Aftershock point real quickly, T-Tigers is playing a very dip and dive style, sitting just outside of vision of Ace. He'll throw the on point over the wall, jump over with a feint of heart, trigger that Aftershock, and then with the movement speed you get from your A, run away, allow that Aftershock to reset, and he'll do it all again.
See, now that I think about it, it actually makes a little bit more sense. The only way that you're going to see Tribe actually defend these turret sieges is by engaging, and that's going to be up to really T-Tigers jumping in that with that feint of heart, trying to get those Aftershock procs onto the squishier targets. Despite this incredible early game from Ace, they're only 1,500 in the lead right now. That would have been much higher if you were flipping it on the other side of the board over the last two games.
And not only that, the items that Tassa had prioritized don't give a huge amount of power to Tassa, particularly. They facilitate Creation's damage.
Ooh, Max Green takes a one-shot, one kill. There's the Gauntlet gets laid down, but the Crucible's going to stop it, but not for Tassa. There's the big stun as well. He manages to get D'Enzio and Max Green. No Crucible available, but T-Tigers manages to find the on-point kill onto Creation. One carry down, the next one to go, but Tassa is way too far out for T-Tigers to finish him off, and Max Green had to back as well.
And to expand on that point, if Creation is dead, then Ace's damage is not there. There's no Dragon's Eye to stack up and sustain, so Tassa, whilst you have an Eve of Harvest for sustained, he's not really going to be out-damaging T-Tiger's burst.
To make that in a really concise, if Creation is dead, Ace is dead. That is how that team comp is going to go for the moment. Maybe third item on Tassa will be different, but right now, he is their damage.
Devin does stun. Oh, did that? No.
No.
I wish. Imagine a world. T-Tigers does manage to steal that one away.
Imagine a world where the one-shot, one-kill steals a healing tree.
That would be a bad world. Imagine how many one-shots would miss because they get blocked by the Treants. That would not be a fun world for Creation, who loves to play around.
Wartread's second item for Youngju, really knowing that he needs to get on top of D'Enzio and just get away from T-Tigers, in all honesty.
Yeah, exactly. It's a defensive Wartreads coming out here from Youngju. They know that movement speed is so imperative to keeping Creation alive, and the only thing that really Tribe have got going for them is that gap closing. So if they can get him away with the Wartreads, even better.
Last game we saw T-Tigers play this CP Blackfeather. Aftershock into Dragon's Eye gives him a much ramp up in the team fight. This game, I expect he will go towards the Shadow Glass here. So good into Sky because you do a lot of burst and then you get out of the team fight. If T-Tigers wants to play the hokey pokey style, then he's going to have to allow his Dragon's Eye stacks to drop.
Out of position.
Tribe just gave it up the lane there completely. Turret ends up going down. There's the defensive wall treads from Youngju, like you were mentioning, but Gauntlet gets laid on. Tassa isn't going to get blocked by it, but a death from above will just stop T-Tigers and D'Enzio marching forward. Youngju fairly low as well. Heartthrob stacks already popped, but an on point just finishes him off.
Boom! On point shot from T-Tigers. He gets the kill there. They managed to burst a lot of, especially Youngju took so much damage, he was forced to defensive fountain for his own safety purposes. No Crucible meant that he wasn't able to get out of that. Gauntlet was stuck there, stuck in the middle of that fight, and only Creation was able to escape.
I love the idea from him though, hooking up everyone and then jumping into the Gauntlet stun. He's like, well, I'll be stunned, you'll be stunned. Maybe I can just walk away. One shot not quite able to steal away that gold miner. Creation does move forward, knowing that a couple snipes will take them down. And it will be this Dragon's Eye coming out of T-Tiger, so clearly he's not afraid to stick into the team fight.
And absolutely, and look over at Max Green. This is something that we very classically see against weapon power Kestrels. When Kestrel fires a Glimmer Shot, the weapon power damage comes out from the initial hit. It doesn't go through the entire Glimmer Shot range, which means that you're going to have someone being able to body block it. That is what Max Green's doing with this metal jacket.
But Creation has anticipated this. His build allows him to be able to shred through armor. Sorrow Blade, Breaking Point, and the Bone Saw is going to allow him to very quickly stack up damage on his Glimmer Shots and then tear through armor stacked up. Such an intelligent, forward thinking build coming out of the Kestrel.
Late Crucible coming on live for Young Ju, though. The amount of times they've actually been stuck inside the Gauntlet, not able to do anything, is one too many, you must think. Dienzio actually gets stunned up from that death from above. They are marching forward as well. Creation firing a couple of Glimmer Shots. Max Green, they're going to have to be careful of him, though. He does have that Gauntlet online.
You raise a good point, Jaws. It has been devastating for Ace to not negotiate their way out of that Crucible. And we're going to see 2 reflex blocks coming out on Tassa and Creation as well. Creation has had that for quite a while. Tassa has just recently picked that up. It means that the only real form of CC that's going to land, because no one expects the Verse of Judgment to really land, is going to be that Max Green Gauntlet. Until he gets an Echo, I think we're going to see Ace being able to navigate their way out of that pretty tricky obstacle.
Crucible now completed as well, allowing for Young Ju to be the exit route. Currently, Tribe struggling to find an in on this game. We talk about the mentality of the East Asian teams, Jaws, and how they are so good at resetting back to point zero, even when they're so far behind in a series.
Yeah, and if you look at that turret lead, I mean, realistically, they played Tribe at their own game so early on. Tribe, they've been so aggressive in the early stages, but Ace were like, okay, we'll do the same thing. We'll send Creation in. He gets 4 kills so early on. He has a 5-minute Sorrow Blade, and now Tribe, they're really struggling to come back into this one, and with Tassa almost completing his 3rd item, he is going to be a menace to deal with when he gets Broken Myth online.
I agree, but the one worry that I have about Sky on this update is that a 3-item build without Dragon's Eye is a 3-item build that's going to be low damage for Sky.
We saw it yesterday from Ace. They had a full crit Rona, and the Sky was really not doing damage. It was just providing a bit of a slow to try and keep the Celeste at bay. But Creation did Creation things, and he was able to put the team on the back and carry them to victory. It was Young Ju's Churnwalker once more, providing so much threat. It's such a playmaking captain and really allows someone to shine with that hook and chain and trespass.
It's really interesting that Creation has gone for a breaking point build on this Kestrel. You often see Sorrow Blade into double Tyrant's Monocle into the Bonesaw. He's looking to play a little bit more of an elongated fight, relying maybe more on kiting with his basic attacks. And against something like a Black Feather that dives you very, very hard, you don't want to be stuck in place casting Glimmer Shots while he rains pain on you. You need to have that flexibility and mobility, and it gives him the sort of essentially the ability to ramp up in these fights.
Kraken has come to the Halcyon Fold once more. An Echo has just been finished for Max Green here. I think Tribe will be feeling like this is their power spike to win team fights, really take back over the game. The gold is dead even at this point.
This is interesting. T-Tigers picks up an Atlas Pauldron, something that you wouldn't classically see against the Kestrel. But simply because she's got that breaking point Bonesaw build, that is the case. Oh, engage.
They're going to go for this big engage. Dienzio is isolated down, but so is the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet is good. Creation gets stunned up, and now it's in a duel with T-Tigers, but it doesn't matter because Dienzio's already fallen. A Rose defensive and put straight into the anti-camo, keeps Creation alive. T-Tigers jumps all the way back in, and Max Green secures the kill, but is it going to be enough? Tassa forward barrage and a death from above to separate him and Max Green. He dashes straight backwards. T-Tigers just cannot land a shot, but Max Green is still alive somehow as well. Another reposition, and he's dodging dip, dive and dodge around the tree end. Tessa goes backwards. Max is a god, an unkillable demon, and Young Ju is gonna just manage to find the stun, but Max Green and T-Tigers, they know they've won the fight already.
We're going to keep chasing Young Ju down here, try and get that ace, but Creation spawns, so it will just be another point on the board for T-Tigers.
One shot, one kill doesn't quite land. Tribe, they finally find the kill. Creation does end up spawning, so they don't actually get the ace buff.
Really strange target prioritization coming out of Tassa there, going towards the most tankiest member of Tribe and the one that's not going to kill you. But Max Green says, you're going to focus me, watch how it's done, here's how it's done, and T-Tigers was able to just tear through the sky.
Kraken is now going to get unleashed. Tribe. This could be the Kraken that lands them the match point. They are 2-0 up in this series, remember. Best of 7 only requires the 4 games. And look at Dienzio's build as well. Super aggressive. And at this moment in time, it's all Max Green once again.
Yeah, but also you've got to remember Dienzio, that last fight got shredded by Tassa. He's got no shielding. He does have to be careful in his own positioning, and that's something that's really important. T-Tigers is again putting on his carry pants and doing some incredible work. They get their first turret of the game here.
Turret's going to go down. Defensive war treads again from Youngju. He's going to be able to kite back from this one. Kraken around half HP. T-Tigers is hitting like a truck as soon as he jumps in. Another on point lands. The gauntlet comes through. Crucible's going to be there also to keep Ace in the game and in the fight for the time being. One shot, one kill does land, but it only lands on T-Tigers. The Kraken takes 2 turrets and Tribe decide to back off.
There's going to be a huge amount of gold swinging over to Tribe here. They have finally found themselves in the lead, and we're going to start to see some defensive items get prioritized for Dienzio, for T-Tigers. Dienzio's issue is that he's not been able to deal with Tassa's aggression so far, and with Creation prioritizing a 3-item Kestrel build and then defensives of each kind, he's actually able to survive in these gauntlets for quite some time.
Not only can Tribe play the early game exceptionally well with T-Tigers' aggression, but they can swing games around like this when it reaches critical mass for T-Tigers.
Absolutely. It's something that we needed to see from Tribe, that ability to come back from an awkward position to find themselves back in the lead, and it has been so impressive to watch them do that. A lot of it facilitated by Max Green. He has been unbelievable this tournament, and I would want to highlight, just before we move on, that last fight, Max Green used the Treant to zone Sky away, used the Treant to block the forward barrage, and that allowed T-Tigers to run away with the fight and take out the Sky. He is a mechanical god along with his 2 carries.
Tribe looking to rotate and scale up just a little bit further here. T-Tigers going to run out on that Crystal Infusion, heads down to the shop, going to prioritize some Pierce now, considering the double Aegis there for Tassa and Creation.
Yeah, that's important. You need to have that piercing shard in the bank to make sure you're at least getting through some of the Aegis.
We talked to Hot Sauce earlier just to see how Tribe felt about the late game because of their early game dominance. Hot Sauce, of course, the coach, the analyst that's worked with Tribe all throughout the year here, and they felt like if they got a draft that didn't quite work in the early game, then they could alter it to scale up into the late game. We're seeing it here from Tribe, their ability to play around the strengths of T-Tigers, Max Green. Dienzio's not having the impact he would have wanted this game, but it's okay when you have stars like T-Tigers and Max Green to pick up the slack.
Well, speaking of Dienzio, he said to me before the game even started, if we win game number 1, we will win the entire series, no problem. Full of confidence, as always, as you can expect from such a young player. Tribe are going to go in, the gauntlet gets laid down. Tassa's going to activate his own reflex block, and Youngju running away with those war treads. Max Green doesn't quite land the second gauntlet. T-Tigers from over the wall is going to get found out by Tassa. This is looking to be a complete reset here by Tribe, but the Torment straight back in. Max Green goes fairly low, and it's just the poke wall right now. Dienzio as well has taken a couple too many glimmer shots and is going to force to use the boots.
Youngju has 2 pairs of boots, 1 for each foot, but what it allows is for the war treads to disengage for Creation, and then Youngju to be able to immediately re-engage and get into that hook and chain range. Oh, that would have been so good.
Wow, with Kraken spawning, Dienzio with the Gift of Fire keeps him alive by a sliver. And now you're starting to see Ace really function in these teamfights. Tassa realizing that T-Tigers is important, zones him away with that forward barrage, making it very difficult for him to find a flanking play. A lot of what Tribe have done here has been the flanking play. He picks up the chronograph, working towards a clockwork, high mobility, high utility, but actually more importantly allows him to output that little bit more damage.
Won't be the Dragon's Eye for the entire team fight domination, but with Youngju to provide an amplification of damage when he lands multiple hooks and chains, then perhaps you don't need the Dragon's Eye if Creation can stay alive.
Well, this is going back to what they've done in the last couple of games, was basically put Creation on this pedestal and say, you carry us. We got you so many early kills. We're going to facilitate you with the Frostburn, facilitate you with the high utility from the sky, with the cooldown as well. We want you to carry. Max Green gets dragged back in. He does Vanguard towards T-Tigers. Death from Above doesn't quite land.
He doesn't want to fight until that Echo is up. That is such an important item for Anarden. The double Gauntlet walls, when used properly, can really help you negotiate through reflex blocks and crucibles. They need to make sure that those are correctly placed. Max Green's last double Gauntlet was the first time we've really seen him falter ever so slightly. We'll have to get things back together.
T-Tigers roads offensive over the wall just to get out the way of Ace. Ace just toying with the Kraken at this point, just letting it reset. If Tribe do back, if they do make one mistake, you best believe Ace are going to capitalize on it. And in fact, they're looking like they're going to commit now. Infusion picked up from Creation as well for the added damage, but they're going to get flared out instantly.
Max Green has his Echo off cooldown now, so he wants to be able to find and engage, but running through that tri-bush only facilitates the hook and chain ease of land for Youngju, and so it's a very difficult piece of terrain to navigate for Tribe. You can see that they're playing very cautiously here.
It's so difficult at this stage in the game to finish an item. Simply because you have to spend so much gold on infusions to keep up with your opponents. You're looking at half a completed item for Tassa and half a completed item for T-Tigers. They're going to have to consistently grind their way. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't even ever see that gets completed before the end of the game.
Right now you see actually Creation giving away all of his last hits to Tassa so that that chronograph can be turned into a clockwork and allow for even more mobility, even more forward barrages to control the team fight.
Yeah. And it's such a big spike over T-Tigers as well, who's still sitting on just 2 damage items. The benefit for T-Tigers is that he has got the Dragon's Eye. He will ramp up, and that acts like a second item when you get to sort of 9 stacks, but it's still hard to make that happen right now.
This is one of the only times we're actually seeing Dienzio on par farm. And I say on par because normally he is actually ahead by a majority of CS. I mean, realistically, last game, we're talking 40 to 50 over Creation. Right now, it's only about 10, one of the smallest leads he's actually had.
And it's very unlikely that these carries prioritize farm anymore. That's a huge cooldown item coming through, a huge item. Just in fact, the clockwork has been completed by Tassa here.
And it was because they donated all of that gold over to him. It is difficult when you're just farming the jungle or farming the lane separately. T-Tigers is working towards what I imagine will be a broken myth. He's got a little bit to go, but I don't think they're going to want to fight until he's finished that up.
Yeah, Dienzio is going to allow for T-Tigers to march up into the lane, take those last hits. It's no longer about the CS score here. It's about getting that third tier 3 item online for your jungle.
The problem that we're facing here is that Dienzio does not have any form of armor penetration. He's going up against 2 metal jackets at this point. The flexibility of Creation's build, so different from the usual Kestrel builds that we see, is that it allows him to pick up a second defensive item. Most Kestrels do not have that ability because they utilize 4 weapon power items.
Broken Myth's been completed now for T-Tigers, but his Crystal Infusion is running thin. Once that Crystal Infusion's gone, Ace Gaming would have the perfect window of opportunity where their power is just that little bit more over Tribe. They can look to really rub it in the faces.
Tribe looking for the flank here. There is the Gauntlet. However, Crucible is used. War Treads also from Youngju to escape. Echo popped also from Max Green to refresh the cooldown on the Gauntlet. So realistically, Tribe still have one more tool to engage with. That Crucible is down for only 30 seconds though. If they're going to make a move, they have to make it fast.
And Dalsey's right, T-Tigers has just lost his infusion. You cannot fight at this stage. We're not reflecting the infusions that your opponents have. It's just too difficult to sort of match the damage output. He's nearly there though. Should be able to buy one up now. There we go.
Infusion finished, and they still have that Gauntlet available in that War Treads. However, Crucible for Youngju up in a couple of seconds. Nice pull back in on T-Tigers. A one-shot, one-kill will find him. Also, not too much damage. Tassa moving in. Death and Rub does come down, but a big stun actually coming through from the Churnwalker. Ultimate Gauntlet gets laid up, but look at Creation on the other side of the fight. Dienzio falls extremely low. Fountain keeping him alive. Tassa had to reposition himself out of there using the Zuri strike. Death from above, not quite landing, but the 3-man yanking from Youngju. T-Tigers, Max Green and Dienzio just going to get burned down. Dienzio, the last member alive, but Youngju says, I'll show you how to play Churnwalker, Max Green. They find the ace.
Tribe kicked that fight off in a way they haven't done so yet, focusing down Tassa, the weakest and most squishiest member of the Ace Gaming roster, but Youngju controlled the team fight so well, paired that Torment in, and right now Ace are looking to get their first game in this series.
Tribe were on the ropes, and it looked like a very Ace Gaming from the start creation with 4 kills, turned that into 6. 1 turret falls, the second one is to follow. The crystal will shatter, and Ace Gaming find their first win in the series.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a series on our hands. Just like in 2016, things are fighting back, and it is now 2-1 to Tribe Gaming. This is the drawback of Weapon Power Adagio. It falls off. It falls off a cliff. It really, really does. It cannot contend with the scaling of something like a Weapon Power Kestrel. And because Tribe Gaming were put on the back burner right at the start, they were continually playing catch-up.
Ace Gaming!